Hi everybody, this is Lisa with Verbling.com, and this is going to be another hour of English classes here on Verbling.com. In this hour, I'm going to be teaching a reading class. So if you are interested in practicing reading out loud and discussing an article in English, then you can join me here in the Google Hangouts by clicking on the Join Class button. I've provided the link to the article which I took from the LA Times, and now I provided the article and the article link in a Google document so that we can read it together at a bigger font, with a bigger font. So you can click on that and people can start going there to open the article to see what it's about. The title of the article is Happiness is Overrated. It's Better to Be Right, Study Finds. So it's a short article about a recent study, you could call it, where the researchers are trying to figure out what makes people happy. So as soon as we get some students in the class, we will read the article together. I know that there is another English class that's probably just finishing up right now, so sometimes it takes a little while for the students who are in one class to finish that class and then come over into the other class. Sometimes it can be difficult to end the class right at 1 hour, especially if you are talking about something interesting and people are very engaged. So I know for myself sometimes it can be hard to keep the class to just 1 hour. But so now, since we don't have anybody in class yet, let me tell everybody a little bit about Verbling.com, because maybe you are coming to this site for the first time and you clicked on classes and you're watching me now and you're wondering, who is this person and what are they doing? So my name is Lisa. I am one of the many teachers that we have here at Verbling.com, and Verbling.com is a language learning site, and one of the things that you can do on this site is to learn or to practice your languages, specifically English. I'm an English teacher, Spanish, and French, and also Italian. You can take classes most hours of the day. Pretty much in English we have classes every hour of the day and the evening. Sometimes we have 2 or 3 classes going at the same time. It depends on if it's a busy hour for people. We try to make it available so often so that people from all around the world can participate in these classes. So what's really cool about this is you can be living wherever you are, and if you have a pretty good internet connection and you can pay $45 a month, that's what the monthly fee is, you can join Verbling, and when you join you get to attend classes. So like I said, there are classes every hour. Sometimes there are 2, even 3 English classes sometimes during our busier hours, and you can come and drop in anytime you want. And if there's a class going and you are interested in practicing your English, you can just click on the Join Class button and join anytime. You do not have to come right at the very beginning. That's preferable, so you can get the full time, so you can have a whole hour long with that teacher, with those students, and you can practice as much as you want. Sometimes, like right now, we have to wait a few minutes before some of the students show up. Obviously, many of us are living pretty busy lives, so sometimes it's hard to get to the class right on time, even if you have made a reservation for it, which you can do. If you know that you want to take a class, you can make a reservation for it and then come into the class. And so, hello, how are you? Han, how are you? Han,
Hello, I am Wing.
how do you say your name?
Hello, do you hear me clearly?
I can hear
Wing.
you. Wing?
Yes, Wing, yes.
Wing, hi. I think there's a little bit of a delay.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
This is the first time I use the floating hangout on Google, so I don't know how to master on its function.
Okay. All right. Well, good. Welcome to Verbling.com and welcome to the class. Wing, where do you live?
Yes. Yeah. I live in the Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Do you know Vietnam? An Southeast Asian country.
Uh-huh. Yes, I know about Vietnam. I have never been there before, but I know about Vietnam and I have friends who have visited Vietnam.
Ah, yes.
I also have students sometimes
Uh,
at this time period from Vietnam. This might be a good time for people
yeah,
in Vietnam.
yeah.
What time is it there?
Uh, Now it's 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yes.
Cool. On Wednesday. I'm still in Tuesday. Oops. Can you hear me still? Sometimes if you're having difficulty, it's good if you refresh your page, and then that will help you come back into the Google Hangouts. Are you there now? Can you hear me okay? Okay, Wing. All right, I see that we have some people who have opened up the reading, so you probably want to read along with us, but we only have Wing here and I can't hear her right now, so we have to work out the details with the students. Okay, Wing, try again, and this time if you have trouble, if you refresh your page, then a lot of times that will allow you to come back in. Okay? So if you refresh your page, that usually works. Sometimes it can be a little tricky depending on your connection. Okay? So I'm going to keep talking about verbling.com, and if anybody wants to come into the class, then we can read the article together and discuss this about happiness. What does it mean to be happy, and when are we happier? So I'm going to keep talking about verbling though, so if you're out there watching and you're trying to decide how does this work and how can I get into the class, or why would I even want to get into the class, I'm going to talk about that now. So the way you get into the class, like I mentioned before, is to join Verbling. So if you want to become a member of Verbling, you pay $45 per month, and that allows you to come into any of the classes that you would like. And as I said, you can make a reservation if you think you're going to be able to make the class and you want to make sure that you can get into the class, because we do have some classes that fill up. There are some times during the day, like these evening hours for us. So like I am in Washington State right now, and so that means I'm in the Pacific time zone, and sometimes these hours in the evening, they are not very crowded. So we have the more times that are crowded are usually, for me, the morning hours and the early afternoon hours. So that's when we usually have 2 or 3 English classes going at the same time, and we have more students. So especially at those times, it's really important to make a reservation. But if you are just awake and you want to check something out and see what's going on, you can always just come to verbling.com to see what class is happening, what is going on. So, Wing, I saw that you're having, whoops, there's the cat. I saw that you're having problems with your internet. So If you can fix those problems, then you can come back in. So I would love to chat with you and we could read the article together, or we can just chat. At this point, whenever this happens, whenever we have a class that does not have any students coming into it, or it's not, only one or two, then that's actually a really amazing thing, because then it's like you get just one-on-one with me and we can talk about anything, and you can ask me questions and we can have a conversation. We can also do the reading. So sometimes people at this hour especially, sometimes you get a class with just one or two people in that class, and that's usually a pretty good thing for the person showing up to class. Other times we have lots more people in the classes, so the maximum number of people we can have is 9. So we can have 10 people total in the Google Hangouts. So we have 9 plus me, I'm the teacher, so that makes 10. So sometimes, like I said, during some of the hours, and especially with some of the teachers, and sometimes it depends on the topic, if it's a really popular topic or something, then more people will show up. So it's a good idea to make a reservation. But anytime you come to verbling.com, you'll see the video. So you're watching me right now on the video. So I'm the English teacher for this hour. Next hour, there's going to be a different teacher, and then the next hour after that, there will be another teacher. And so that's kind of how it works. We have native English-speaking teachers from all around the world. I mean, they're from the United States or Canada mostly, but we live in different parts of the world. So like I said, I live in Washington State in the United States, and we have other teachers who live in different parts of Canada. We have a teacher who lives in Costa Rica, in the Philippines, in other countries around the world. And the cool thing about that is that they're awake. So they're awake at different times, and they can teach classes at different times. So when I go to sleep later this evening, another teacher or a couple of other different teachers who live in different parts of the world will be teaching on Verbling while I'm sleeping. So it's a pretty amazing thing. We also have some students who like to take classes at all hours of the day, and even sometimes they wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning and they take classes, and sometimes they stay up very late. So it just depends on who's up, what they're doing, and if anybody wants to pop into the English class. It's kind of a cool thing, because you know, on the one hand, you don't have to commit to going to a class every single Wednesday at 6 o'clock, for example, but instead you can fit the classes into your own schedule. So if you want to have a class in the morning at 6 a.m., like I had a student earlier today, class was at 6 a.m., then you can have a class at 6 a.m. and then you can go to work, and then you can come home, and then you can come back. So, and then you can take more classes. So let's see here. We have somebody chatting me on the article. I know people want me to read the article, but we also need to have some students coming into the class, and I'm not sure if anybody's having any trouble getting into the class because nobody has said anything. Sometimes I've done this before where I'm talking and then nobody's telling me, but sometimes there might be a problem either with Google Hangouts or with Verbling. So I'm just wondering if people are having any trouble with with that. So if you are having trouble, let me know and I will get some help. Otherwise, oh, it turns out there is another class going on right now, and it's Henna's class, so maybe that's why we are not getting anybody in this class, because this hour is usually not very full. So I'm surprised that we have 2 classes going at the same time. Okay. Okay, I'm going to, oops. Hi, Martha. Hi, Martha. I see that you are here on the Verbling website. All right, so we can just see here. Okay. Some people are looking at the article that I was going to read, but they're not coming into the class. So I guess we can just start reading the article. And if some people want to join in, they can come in and read it with me. Otherwise, I will be reading this article. And you can also, Martha, you can type into the Verbling chat, I believe. So instead of typing in the Google Documents chat, you can use the Verbling chat, and that way I can see it. Okay? Okay. Wing, did you get back in?
Yes.
Okay.
And
That's better. Did you
yes,
restart your...
and
Yes, go ahead.
I want to ask you about where did you what did you do with this reading?
Yeah, the reading, I'm putting it in the screen share. Do you see it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So what I was going to do for this class is we were going to be reading this article together, but you're the only person in the class so far, so you and I can read it together, and then we can talk about it, and you can also
Yes,
ask me any questions you want, since it's just me and you.
yes. And I will read out this article. Yes.
Yes, the way I like to do it is I like to do a little bit at a time, and so I will read it first so that you can listen to how I pronounce the words.
Yes.
And then it will be your turn, and then you will read it, and then I will help you if you need help with any of the words.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, and yes, like continue with the reading of the article. Yeah.
Okay, so you want to start?
Yes.
All right, let's go. All right, so I will read it first. So the title is Happiness is Overrated. It's Better to Be Right. Study finds. Okay, so that's the title.
Yes.
Do you know what it means, overrated? Happiness is overrated?
This is something like overestimated, right?
Yeah, like people think it's
Yes.
better than it is. Like
Yes.
it's better to be happy, but they're saying it's better to be right, and they're saying that they did a little study that found that out. All right, I'll read this whole part first. Okay. It is better to be right than to be happy, at least for one husband on the cutting edge of science. As part of an unusual experiment, the husband was instructed to agree with his wife's every opinion and request without complaint, and to continue doing so even if he believed the female participant was wrong, according to a report on the research that was published Tuesday by the British Medical Journal. Okay, why don't you read that?
Yes. And I will reread that paragraph one more time. Yeah.
Yeah, both of those. Yeah. Read those again.
Yes. And it's better to be right than to be happy, at least for one husband on the cutting edge of science. As part of an unusual experiment, the husband was instructed to agree with his wife's every opinion and request without complaints, and to continue doing so even if he believed the female participant was wrong, according to a report on the research that was published Tuesday by the British Medical Journal.
Good. So they're saying he was on the cutting edge of science. So it's like on the leading edge. He's like out there doing something, finding out something new that we don't know so far. Yeah. And usually I go over these words, but I can go over anything you don't understand, and if you understand this, I don't need to go over it. Do you want me to go over some of these things?
No, and we keep continuing. Yeah.
We can continue?
Yeah, we can continue.
Okay. The husband and wife were helping a trio of doctors test their theory that pride and stubbornness get in the way of good mental health. In their own medical practices in New Zealand, they had observed patients leading unnecessarily. What is that in the background?
What?
What is that noise in the background?
That is my paper.
Cool. Okay. In their own medical practices in New Zealand, they had observed patients leading unnecessarily stressful lives by wanting to be right rather than happy. If these patients could just let go of the need to prove to others that they were right, would greater happiness be the result? Okay,
Yes.
your turn.
The husband and wife were helping a trio of doctors test the theory that pride and stubbornness get in the way of good mental health. In their own medical practices in New Zealand, they had observed patients leading unnecessarily stressful lives by wanting to be right rather than happy. If these patients could just let go of the need to prove to others that they were right, would greater happiness be the result?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So,
And
is there
what
anything?
is
Yes, go ahead.
yes, what is stubbornness?
Stubbornness. So we say that a person is stubborn when they refuse to do something. Like you think of little kids and they say, "No, I'm not going to do it." And we say, "Oh, they're being stubborn. They just don't want to, be helpful or something." So it's when a person doesn't really want to do anything, or if they don't want to admit to something. So they're being stubborn. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah, so
okay.
they're testing their theory that pride and the stubbornness, they're just saying, no, I'm not going to do it. That's when somebody might call you stubborn. For example, if somebody says, hey, let's go get some food, and everybody says yes, and one person says, I only want to eat pizza, and everybody else wants to eat something else. And they say, stop being so stubborn, just come with us. And that person says, no, I just want pizza. You could say they're being stubborn. They don't want to change their minds.
Okay, yes, yes. Uh, I have observation in.
Leading?
I
In their
don't understand clearly the meaning of the verb lead in that circumstance.
Okay, in this context, it means that they are living. So if you're leading a stressful life, that means you're living a stressful life.
Yes.
Yeah, they had observed patients
Living in
leading.
that way.
Yeah, in this
Yeah.
particular one, yeah. For example, like a leader, like a president or somebody, he leads his people,
Yeah.
but in this case, it just means living.
Mhm.
When you're
Mhm.
leading a certain type of lifestyle, that means that's the way that you're living. So if you're leading a stressful life, that means you have a lot of stress in your
Yeah.
life.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Okay. Uh, it's.
Yeah. Okay, well, should we keep going?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Enter the intrepid husband. Based on the
Mm.
assumption that men would rather be happy than be right, he was told to agree with his wife in all cases. However, based on the assumption that women would rather be right than be happy, the doctors decided not to tell the wife why her husband was suddenly so agreeable. Okay, your turn.
Yes. Enter the intrepid husband. Based on the assumption that men would rather be happy than be right, he was told to agree with his wife in all cases. However, based on the assumption that women would rather be right than be happy, the doctors decided not to tell the wife why her husband was suddenly so agreeable.
Good. This word, let's work on this pronunciation. We said enter the intrepid. Intrepid.
Intrepid.
Good. Intrepid
Uh,
husband. It
Yes, we
means
would
brave.
say brave. Brave. Yes.
Yeah, like he
Yes.
doesn't have any fear. He's going to be brave to do this study with his wife.
Yes. Intrepid. Okay.
Good.
We put the
Intrepid.
accent in the middle.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Intrepid.
Intrepid. Okay.
Enter the intrepid husband. hmm
Yes. Mm,
Do you know what
and
assumptions are when you make an
yes.
assumption?
Make. Mm, I can understand it, but I cannot
Explain
explain it
it.
in English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's always so you understand it in Vietnamese. So to explain it in
Yes.
English, you would say you assume something. So you think something about another person. You think it's true. You don't know for sure, right? You don't
Mm,
know for
yes.
sure that
Yes.
it's true. You just think it is, or the verb is to assume. So
Yes.
it comes from the
Okay.
verb. Yeah, to assume.
Yes.
So they think, but their assumption is that men would rather be happy than right. So he is supposed to agree. He's supposed to just say, yes, you're right. Yes, that's right. He is not going to disagree at all.
Yes.
And then but the
Just.
woman, she doesn't know about it.
Yeah.
hmm Okay, she
Yes.
doesn't know why he is suddenly. So like all of a sudden, he's starting to agree with her about everything. So
Yes.
both spouses were asked to rate their quality of life on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the happiest, at the start of the experiment and again on day 6. It's not clear how long the experiment was intended to last, but it came to an abrupt halt on day 12.
Yes. Okay. Both spouses were asked to rate their quality of life on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the happiest. At the start of the experiment and again on the day 6, it's not clear how long the experiment was intended to last, but it came to an abrupt end on
Halt.
day 12. Halt.
Yeah.
Halt.
Halt. Yeah.
Halt. Halt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Good. Let's say this one again here. We make sure you get the H sound. So happiest.
Happiest. The
Exactly. hmm
the happiest or the happiest.
The happiest.
The happiest. Okay.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Mm.
So they asked
Mm.
both spouses, that's the husband and the wife.
Spouses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spouses
Spouse.
to rate. Do you know what it means to rate?
That is you give points
Mhm.
according to how you feel about something. If you're
Exactly.
happy, very happy, you can give the score about 8 to 10. If
Mhm.
you're unhappy, you can give the one below 5, for example.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Exactly. Good.
yeah.
And do you know what it means that the study came to an abrupt halt?
No, that is a very, very new word.
Okay. It means that it came to an abrupt stop. So it stopped like right away. So they started and then day 6 came and they rated it, and they were
Yeah,
not clear how long they were going to go. They didn't know how long, but it stopped all of a sudden. So abrupt halt means a halt is a stop. So or
yeah,
like we could say an end. So it ended abruptly. So it stopped like suddenly on day 12. Yeah. So
yes, okay.
abrupt means all of a sudden, and halt means to stop.
Fine, yes, okay.
By then, the male participant found the female participant to be increasingly critical of everything he did, the researchers reported. The husband couldn't take it anymore, so he made his wife a cup of tea and told her what had been going on. That led the researchers to terminate the study.
Yes. By then, the male participant found the female participant to be increasingly critical of everything he did. The researchers reported. The husband couldn't take it anymore, so he made his wife a cup of tea and told her what had been going on. That led the researchers to terminate the study.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Anything in there that you don't understand?
Yeah, I can understand the meaning of the group of word take it anymore, but I don't know how to use it in my daily life.
Oh, okay. So the husband couldn't take it anymore. That means like he was okay. I'm gonna give you some more things. Like he was fed up with it. So if this was a study, and he was supposed to say, yes, honey, yes, I agree with you, and he was not supposed
Yeah,
to argue with her, and it was too much for him, and you could say he couldn't take it anymore. So the way you use it
yeah,
in your daily life is like that. If you say,
yeah.
for example, you could say, I have been studying, whoops, all day. I can't take it anymore. That means I can't do
Uh,
it anymore.
yes,
I don't want to do it.
I can keep studying. With that race, okay.
hmm It means
I
you
can
don't.
let the situation. I can let. You cannot let the situation. Keep. Continue.
Yes, yes. You don't want to do
Yes.
it anymore. You've had enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes like maybe when you're a little kid, maybe you have like a little kid, and the little kid goes to ask his mom for some candy, and he
Yeah.
says, please mom, please, and she says no, and he says, come on, I want the candy, please, and she says no, and he keeps asking, and she says, stop, i can't I can't take it anymore. Like and what she means is, stop asking me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how you can use it. Like, and you can
Yes.
say,
Yes.
I can't take it anymore, or in the
Yeah.
conditional, I couldn't take it anymore. I just had to stop. You know. So
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, sure. And so that's what led the researchers to terminate. So they stopped the study because
Terminate.
terminate means to stop. Yeah.
Yes.
So they stopped doing it because the man was too upset. He couldn't take it anymore.
Yes.
All right. So over the 12 days, so that was only less than 2 weeks. Over the
Yes.
12 days of the experiment, the husband's quality of life plummeted from a baseline score of 7 all the way down to 3. The wife started out at 8 and rose to 8.5 by day 6. She had no desire to share her quality of life with the researchers on day 12, according to the report. Still, the team was able to draw some preliminary conclusions. Okay.
Yes. Over the 12 days of the experiment, the husband's quality of life plummeted from a baseline score of 7 all the way down to 3. The wife started out at 8 and rose to 8.5 by day 6. She had no desire to share her quality of life with the researchers on day 12, according to report. Still, the team was able to draw some preliminary conclusions.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Mm,
Let's work on this pronunciation right here. To draw.
to to draw,
Yeah. What
draw.
I'm
Okay.
what I'm hearing you say is what I hear is a T sound, like to draw, and we want to get the D, where you put the
Yes. Draw.
yeah,
To draw.
yeah, draw. It's kind of a tough
To
one because you're
draw.
putting the two sounds together. Yeah, draw,
Draw.
draw.
She was able to draw.
Yeah.
Draw. Okay.
Draw. There you go. Yeah.
Draw. Yes.
Yeah.
Draw.
Draw. That's a hard one.
Draw.
Draw. Yeah, there you go. That's
It's
good.
very hard to distinguish
Draw.
between T and D sound.
Is it? Yeah. Yeah, and this one too, it's because it's with the D, like dad, that's different, you know, because you have a D and then a vowel, D-A, dad.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Dad.
this,
Yeah.
right, that's good. But then we have the D-R, so it's like dra, dra, and then we say it faster, draw. Exactly, there you go. Right.
Draw.
Exactly. There you go. You got it.
Thank you.
Cool. And so plummeted just means it went down a lot. So he started out, yeah, the baseline, that's where he started with 7.
What is baseline?
Baseline is like the starting score. So remember on the day 1, they took the little, you know, they rated themselves, how happy they were. So he had a baseline score of 7. So baseline is mean where you start. So he was starting at a 7. But his quality of life plummeted, so it fell down. Plummeted means to fall. And he went all the way down to 3, so he was not very happy. Poor guy. And she started out, so she had a already pretty good score, 8. And it went up. It rose to 8.5. Yep. But this is a funny sentence here because she had no desire. I think she was mad. She had no desire to share. She did not want to share. She did not want to rate herself at the end.
Yeah, maybe she was very upset because she know that her husband did follow the instruction of the researchers to obey her on the 12 days.
Right, right. Yes, yes, that's right, exactly. And preliminary, do you understand the word preliminary conclusions?
I think that is some basic conclusion, some first conclusion.
Exactly.
That is right.
Exactly. So they were able to draw, which means just like to think about some new things. They would write them down. You know, that's what they could get out of the study. That's what they decided. It seems that being right, however, is a cause of happiness, and agreeing with what one disagrees with is a cause of unhappiness, they wrote. They also noted that the availability of unbridled power adversely affects the quality of life of those on the receiving end. Okay?
It seems that being right, however, is a cause of happiness, and agreeing with what one disagrees with is a cause of unhappiness, they wrote. They also noted that the availability of unbridled power adversely affects the quality of life of those on the receiving end.
Good. 2 words that I'll help you with. Cause. So we want to make it a longer sound. So the cause. Cause.
Cause. Cause.
Right. Yeah. Cause of happiness. And then this one is what we call a long I sound. So it's unbridled. Unbridled.
Unbridled.
Yeah, exactly.
Unbridled. What does that mean? Unbridled.
Yeah, it means if you have unbridled power, it's like you have unlimited. You know, like
unlimited.
It's kind of like unlimited or unchecked. So nobody's telling you, hey, that's too much. You can't do that. You're just like, you have all of the power. You know?
So in very powerful.
Exactly. And unbridled means, okay, so it means like when you're riding a horse, you have the reins and that's like a bridle. But if it's unbridled, then the horse can just go crazy and do whatever it wants. So if you have unbridled power, it means you basically can do whatever you want because nobody is going to tell you not to do it. So it's not a very
Oh,
good thing.
yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what they found out, that if somebody has unbridled power, that means no checks on them. They can't say, hey, stop. Um, nobody else is watching them or has power over them, then this is not good. It adversely affects. So this could be negatively
Yes.
affects the other person. So in this case, this was the wife. She had the unbridled power, it seemed, because she just said, the man said yes, yes, yes. But it affected his life negatively or adversely. He was the person
Yes.
receiving it. Yeah.
Wait, the receiving end?
Yeah,
What
he
that
was,
is? That mean the husband in that situation.
yes, because he was on the receiving end. He was the person kind of getting her power, like
Yeah.
whatever she was saying, he just couldn't disagree. So he had to disagree. And so that made her feel like she had more power, perhaps.
Hmm.
And it wasn't
Yeah.
good for him. He didn't like it. So his quality of life went down.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And up here it seems, this is the other thing, that it seems that being right, however, is a cause of happiness. Okay, so like if you can, if you can be right sometimes, that you like that. But especially I think this is what they found. Agreeing with what one disagrees with is a cause of unhappiness. So it wasn't true that he really did agree with her. He just had to say it. So it wasn't like his truth. He was not being honest. So if you're not honest, that's probably doesn't make you feel happy. If you can't speak your opinion, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So the last one says, the three doctors think they might be onto something, and they wrote that they would like to see the work continue. More
Oh,
research is needed to see whether our results hold if it is the male who is always right. Okay.
yes. The three doctors think they might be on to something, and they wrote that they would like to see the work continue. More research is needed to see whether our results hold if it is the male who is always right. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. And they want to do an experiment
Uh-huh.
where the male and the female participant change and switch their roles. Yes,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly right. Good.
yes.
So let me just work with you on this one. So this is kind of the same thing. You have the TH sound because you said it right over here and other places. But when you add that R there, then you were changing this to like a regular T instead of a th. So if you say it slowly, three,
Three, three,
three. Yeah.
three,
Mhm.
three. Okay,
Yeah.
three. Yes,
Three. Yeah. Okay, good.
three,
So
three. Yeah.
we have a little bit of time here that we can just use to talk. So how about if I ask you some questions?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Wing. Are you a student or are you working?
Uh, I uh, I am still a senior student at the university,
Mm-hmm.
and I have just submitted my thesis this Monday. I
Mm-hmm.
am now available, and am now available for work, and I am now try to find a good job.
Nice. And what did
Yeah.
you study in college?
Uh, my major is administration, business administration,
Mm-hmm.
and I just love some some lecture about finance. and my thesis is about finance too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, what kind of a job are you going to look for?
I'm now applying for assistant position in a chamber in Ho Chi Minh City.
Oh,
That
what?
is a very good position for a fresh graduate like
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you already apply?
Yes, and tomorrow I have the interview
Oh,
with this human resources member.
oh, uh-huh. And
Yeah,
what kind of a company is it? What do they do?
that is American Chamber.
American Chamber of Commerce?
Yes, American Chamber in Vietnam.
Oh, interesting. So, what do they help American companies like start businesses or work with Vietnamese businesses or what do they do?
Then they mm, I don't know very clearly, but that is just like an intermediate between American companies and Vietnamese committee,
Mm-hmm.
and they control every trade between two countries, something like that.
Oh, okay. And
Yes,
I'm gonna put it up here and tell me if this is the right thing here. I'm gonna put it up in my screen share. Is
yes,
this the website here? Let me see. Is that the
yes. That yes, that is right. That is Chen Chen
backwards?
Vietnam.
Okay. I don't know why it's backwards. Hold on. It's backwards in there. So is this a position where you will be speaking English?
Maybe, but my my responsibility is assisting assisting on mm, assisting accounting assistant. You know,
Oh, okay.
uh,
Doing
I work
accounting.
with figures. I
I
work with
see.
figures.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Uh-huh. Do you
yes,
like that? Would you like that kind of job? Is that something you would
yes,
like? Yeah, okay.
yeah. Working as assistant let me uh, learn a lot about the job.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. And when will you know if you get the job?
Uh, if I pass this interview, I
Mm-hmm.
will be on board the 1st January.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Nice. Okay.
yeah,
Fun. Do a lot of people work at this Chamber of Commerce?
yes. Uh, they have many field uh, to apply in that chamber,
Uh-huh.
event, finance, something like that. Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Many committee, and you can also apply as a volunteer
Uh-huh.
in some CSR activities.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice. Well, I hope you get the job. Good luck with that.
yes. Thank
So,
you, teacher.
you're welcome. Well, so tell me how did you learn English? How long have you been learning English?
I have been learning English for 4 years.
Wow.
Since I started learning at university. I started studying at university. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Have you only been studying at the university or do you do other things to learn English too?
I did register to some IELTS course to learn about how to pass this exam,
Uh-huh.
and this also chance to practice my English skill.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
did you take the IELTS exam or the TOEFL exam?
Not yet. I'm preparing it. I'm
Oh,
preparing for it. Yes.
uh-huh. Cool.
Yes.
Do you need to take that test for your job or just because you want to?
Uh, that I consider this exam as a ruler, a
Uh-huh.
ruler to measure my ability of English
Okay, great.
fluency.
Mm-hmm.
So if I try my best to get a high score,
Mm-hmm.
I will be very glad.
Yeah, great. Well,
Yes.
yeah, on Verbling we have sometimes I do it, but many other teachers also, we have specific classes where we do practice for like the IELTS exam. So sometimes we practice the speaking where you can practice answering the questions and doing the different tasks that they have you do. And sometimes we do
Yes.
writing classes, and so you can practice
Yes.
writing an essay. Yeah, and
Yes.
reading. All the reading classes are good for that as well.
Yes. And
What do you, yes?
how could the teacher could correct my writing essay?
Mhm.
I submit them my all essay and they will correct all my mistake on this essay. Okay.
Yes, sometimes, well, that's what I do, and I help students with that during the writing classes. It's like, you can bring your essay to the class and then put it on the document, and then I correct it and go over it with you.
Oh,
And sometimes
yes.
people just come to the class and then I provide like a question and they write for about 20 minutes and then I go over the corrections.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yes.
Yeah, I do
Yes,
that
it's
and
very
some other
helpful.
teachers do that too.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. So that works for the writing class. What do you think you need the most help with?
Uh, that is my speaking skill because I am not very confident with my pronunciation and my ability to interact with people in English.
Okay.
Mm,
Well, that's
I
great.
cannot use my word fluently. I cannot say fluently. I am trying to find the right words, and then my uh, my sentence has many pauses.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing they want you to do to get a high score on the IELTS. You have to speak without too much hesitation, without too many pauses. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I have worked with people to help them improve their speaking, and when I help them, I just give them lots of opportunities to practice because there are many websites that give you the questions or the possible questions that might be there, for
Mhm.
the speaking, and you can practice answering those. And also, when you come to different classes on Verbling, you'll have a lot of opportunity to speak, and so therefore get more confident about your ability to, put all your thoughts together and say them without too much, too many pauses or stopping. And really, they also want you to um, use like the typical language. And so far, I think you're doing really well. So from
Yeah.
what I've
Thank
heard,
you, teacher.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And sometimes, um, sometimes people just get nervous. So it's a good idea
Yes.
too. It's also a good idea to work on being calm and confident so that you don't get too nervous when you're trying to answer the questions. Because it can go
Yes.
the speaking part can go very quickly because there's only three tasks, and the first one is just like a minute or 2 minutes, The next one is a
Yeah.
couple, is a couple more minutes, and then the last one is a few minutes. So it's not a really long part of the test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Well, I'm glad. Did you join Verbling, or are you trying it out for free?
And use my free trial week.
Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, well,
Yes.
try to do as many classes as you can and see
Yes.
how you can how much you can practice. That would be great. That's good
Yes.
idea. Yeah.
That is a very good website, and I hope that it will help me improve my English.
Mhm. Yes.
Yes.
I think it will. Why don't you tell me so this is a question about what they ask you on the IELTS exam is tell me about your family. Why don't you
Mhm.
practice by telling me about your family? Like,
Uh,
who's in your family? Is it a big family? Is it a small family? Do you all live together? Do some people live other places? Just kind of anything like that. That's what you include.
yes. I am now living with my whole family. It concludes five members. My grandfather, me, my mother and father, and my younger sister.
Mm.
And we live very happily.
Mhm.
Uh, Although my father do not go to the office or go to work anymore, but
Mhm.
he still had some income every month, and
Mhm.
we can arrange all all of my family activity, all of my family expenses within
Mhm.
his income.
Oh.
And yes, and my younger sister is now a senior a student in high school, and she is preparing for the final exam. I am now her private tutor at home to help her to
Nice.
help her to practice
Yeah.
uh, every material at school.
Mhm. Good.
Yes.
Good. So I would just two things that I heard. Everything was really good, except for I'm not sure exactly how you said it, but the right way to say it was my father does not go to the office to work anymore. And then
Yes.
just the last one, when you said that you're going to help her, you can say you're going to help her with all of the material that she needs to learn or something like that. And I think you said every material, but just all the things she needs to study.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yes.
Well, that's good. That's lucky for
Yes.
her. She has a big sister. Okay. Well, thank you for coming to class. I'm glad you came, and I hope I'll see you again. And keep trying many more classes with different teachers, and that way you can get more and more practice.
Yes.
And good
Thank you
luck.
very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much for saying that.
All right. You are welcome. Thank you. I'll see you again another
Yes.
time. Okay. Take care.
Yes. Yes. See you again.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Mm.
Available so often so that people from all around the world can participate in these classes. So what's really cool about this is you can be living wherever you are, and if you have a pretty good internet connection and you can pay $45 a month, that's what the monthly fee is, you can join Verbling, and when you join you get to attend classes. So like I said, there are classes every hour. Sometimes there are two, even three English classes, sometimes during our busier hours. And you can come and drop in anytime you want. And if there's a class going and you are interested in practicing your English, you can just click on the join class button and join anytime. You do not have to come right at the very beginning. That's preferable so you can get the full time, so you can have a whole hour long with that teacher, with those students, and you can practice as much as you want. Sometimes, like right now, we have to wait a few minutes before some of the students show up. Obviously, many of us are living pretty busy lives, so sometimes it's hard to get to the class right on time, even if you have made a reservation for it, which you can do. If you know that you want to take a class, you can make a reservation for it and then come into the class. And so, hello, how are you? Han, how are you? Han,
Hello, I am Wing.
how do you say your name?
Hello, do you hear me clearly?
I can hear
Wing.
you. Wing?
Yes. Wing, yes.
Wing, hi. I think there's a little bit of a delay.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
This is the first time I use the Verbling Hangout on Google, so I don't know how to master on its function.
Okay. All right. Well, good. Welcome to Verbling.com and welcome to the class. Wing, where do you live?
Yes. Yeah. I live in the Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Do you know Vietnam, an Southeast Asian country?
Uh-huh. Yes, I know about Vietnam. I have never been there before, but I know about Vietnam and I have friends who have visited Vietnam.
Ah, yes.
I also have students sometimes
Uh,
at this time period from Vietnam. This might be a good time for people
yeah.
in Vietnam. Hi everybody, this is Lisa with Verbling.com and this is going to be another hour of English classes here on Verbling.com. In this hour, I'm going to be teaching a reading class. So if you are interested in practicing reading out loud and discussing an article in English, then you can join me here in the Google Hangouts by clicking on the Join Class button. I've provided the link to the article which I took from the LA Times, and now I provided the article and the article link in a Google document so that we can read it together at a bigger font, with a bigger font. So you can click on that and people can start going there to open the article to see what it's about. The title of the article is Happiness is Overrated. It's Better to Be Right, Study Finds. So it's a short article about a recent study, you could call it, where the researchers are trying to figure out what makes people happy. So as soon as we get some students in the class, we will read the article together. I know that there is another English class that's probably just finishing up right now. So
Yeah.
what time is it there?
Now it's 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yes.
Cool. On Wednesday. I'm still in Tuesday. Oops. Can you hear me still? Sometimes if you're having difficulty, it's good if you refresh your page, and then that will help you come back into the Google Hangouts. Are you there now? Can you hear me okay? Okay, Wing. All right, I see that we have some people who have opened up the reading, so you probably want to read along with us, but we only have Wing here and I can't hear her right now, so we have to work out the details with the students. Okay, Wing, try again, and this time if you have trouble, if you refresh your page, then a lot of times sometimes it takes a little while for the students who are in one class to finish that class and then come over into the other class. Sometimes it can be difficult to end the class right at 1 hour, especially if you are talking about something interesting and people are very engaged. So I know for myself sometimes it can be hard to keep the class to just 1 hour. But so now, since we don't have anybody in class yet, let me tell everybody a little bit about Verbling.com, because maybe you are coming to this site for the first time and you clicked on classes and you're watching me now and you're wondering, who is this person and what are they doing? So my name is Lisa. I am one of the many teachers that we have here at Verbling.com, and Verbling.com is a language learning site, and one of the things that you can do on this site is to learn or to practice your languages, specifically English. I'm an English teacher, Spanish, and French, and also Italian. You can take classes most hours of the day. Pretty much in English we have classes every hour of the day and the evening. Sometimes we have 2 or 3 classes going at the same time. It depends on if it's a busy hour for people. We try to make it